Let's go into first and 10 NBA news. I'm not going to talk about all the series because all the series don't really, deserve to be talked about, especially my Sixers. They lost again today to the Celtics. They got whooped, so now they're down 0-2. Brett Brown needs to be fired. He needs to be canned. He needs to be punished. He needs to be put to shame for what he has done to the Sixers. And Elton Brand needs to be fired too. Let's not let him off the hook either. Joel Embiid in game one, doing very well in the first half. And then for whatever reason, Brett Brown thinks the best move is to take the ball away from Joel Embiid and not give him the ball, not feed the beast, not feed the only, your best player. Now that Ben Simmons is gone for the season, you don't feed Joel Embiid. You take the ball out of his hands after he has pretty much he was dominating at the time. But Brett Brown, unfortunately, I don't like saying people need to get fired, but I think his time has come up. He just signed an extension, but at this point, Sixer fans don't care. He needs to go. We're willing to. And I say we like I'm writing out the checks, but we're willing to, accept that penalty that comes with, firing them, letting them go early. But Brett Brown is a good guy, great guy. But when it comes to Sixers basketball, he needs to go. I'm sorry, he needs to go. It's time for someone else. Let's get Mark Jackson in Philly. Let's do it. Sixers need to get that going, make it happen. But anyways, I want to talk about competitive, good series, the most popular series, most of them in the West. Actually, all of them I'm going to talk about right now are in the West. So, number one, let's start off with the Lakers and the Blazers. We talked about this. I need to go back in the footage because I remember that I said that I knew that there was a possibility that the Blazers would potentially go against the Lakers. I anticipated a flat-out sweep, if not a gentleman's sweep. And the Dame Lillard, Dame Dalla said, "Let's hold on, let's relax, let's take a step back and let this play out." And the Blazers take game one. They steal game one from the Lakers. And I know most of you are going to be laughing like, "Hey, you said this, you said that. Okay, cool, that's fine." But I'm going to stick to my guns and say that it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. Lakers are about to win 4 in a row. I don't anticipate the Blazers winning another game in the series. I don't anticipate this going, 7 games, 6 games. I think the Lakers taking them out in 5. So that's what it is. But let's get into this game. So the main difference in the game, and I'll get into that, but the total, the score was 100 for the Blazers, 93 Lakers. The difference in the game was free throws and the three-pointers. You go down the stat sheet, you look at it, and you see that there's a clear correlation between what happened in the game. And the difference for both teams, again, was the three-pointers and the free throws. So I have the stats up here. The Portland Trailblazers shot 38 from the three-point line. So they went 13 to 34. Lakers shot 15%. And so they went 5 and 32. Clear advantage, Portland. And then free throws, Blazers, 75%. So they hit 25 of 33 free throws. Lakers, 64%. So 20 of 31. I mean, there's your game right there. There's the game. You can't shoot that poorly from the three-point line as well from the free throw line and expect to win. The Lakers should know this. Nobody went into the season saying this is going to be the best free throw shooting team, in NBA history. I mean, they got LeBron James, who, he's good at hitting free throws that really don't matter. You have Dwight Howard, who's trash at free throws. JaVale McGee, there's a lot of guys on this team that are very unreliable when it comes to shooting free throws. Three-pointers, they can't shoot 15%. They shoot 15% for this whole series, and they're going to be sent home in the first round. Biggest upset, maybe, I wouldn't say in NBA history, but it'll be a pretty big upset. So Lakers need to fix that. Three-point shooting and the free throws. They need to be hitting those free throws in practice. They need to be practicing on free throws at all times. Whenever they have free time, hit those free throws. So that was just the clear indicator of why the Lakers lost to the Blazers in game one. Dame Dollar showed up, like I said, but is he able to keep up this pace? We don't know this. We don't know if Damian Lillard is able to keep up this pace. He went for 34 again. You know, he's averaging about 35, 34 points in the bubble. Dude is playing ridiculous basketball right now. And, you know, he showed up last year in the playoffs, you know, for that one against OKC. He showed up then. And I can't remember who they played. I want to say they played 2 series, because I know they made it to the Western Conference Finals where they got swept by the Warriors. That was a big embarrassing. So, you know, hopefully that Dame Dollar doesn't show up. You know, he was going against a juggernaut, but they didn't have KD. You know, the Warriors at the time were fragile. They were injured. But who is the real Dame Lillard in the playoffs? That's what we need to figure out, because he's been swept a few times in the playoffs, and that can't happen for someone of his caliber. If he wants to go down as one of the greats, he can't be getting swept in the playoffs like this. He needs to make some noise. This is a perfect opportunity for Damian Lillard to put his name up there with some of the best. When you're talking top 5 players in basketball, you want to talk Damian Lillard. If he's able to deliver the goods against the Lakers and make a strong playoff push in the bubble. I know it's just a bubble. You know, it's not the same as a regular season, a full regular season with the playoffs. But he's playing with what he got now. He's playing with house money. He got nothing to lose, because the Lakers were favored before the bubble to win the whole thing. So they're playing with house money. Next, we're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks and the Clippers. I actually like this series. This is probably it's going to be my favorite series to watch. It's an intriguing matchup, and I think that the Clippers are in for a series. This is going to go 6-7 games. And honestly, I think that the Mavericks should have won this game 1, but unfortunately, and this is going to be my opinion on the game, unfortunately the refs, you know, put themselves in the game to make, you know, the referees put themselves in a position to, you know, disrupt the result of the game. And when I say that, I mean, I'm talking about Kristaps Porzingis, but before I even get to that, Luka Doncic is the real deal. Dude is legit. I think everybody knows that. I mean, I know when he got drafted, you know, when it comes to NBA draft and it comes to European players, everyone's very skeptical on these European players. They're kind of, you know, especially me. Maybe I'll just say me. I'm very skeptical on European players because they always come into the NBA and, you know, the what you got to do with them is be physical, because these guys are finesse, you know, overseas. These guys are finesse players, not very physical. So the key is to be physical with them, and that's exactly what the Clippers did. But they tried to. He still got his points. I think he dropped 42. So let's see real quick. Yeah, so Luka dropped 42, 7 and 9. You know, he got his. But they were physical with him at the end, and actually that physicality led to Porzingis getting his second technical foul and getting ejected from the game with a lot of time left, actually. Mind you, the Mavericks were playing, you know, step for step with the Clippers, and we know that the Clippers haven't played with their full roster, you know, I think it was like 13, 14 games where they played with their actual full roster of guys playing together. And the Mavericks were step for step with them, man. I thought that the Mavericks were going to steal game 1, but I think that the referees, again, were able to get into the game where they unfortunately impacted the result. I think Kristaps Porzingis getting ejected was big for the Clippers. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis is, you know, he may be their best player, the Mavericks. I know I was just talking about Luka, but Kristaps Porzingis is not a scrub. Like, dude could play. So it's very interesting. And it's a funny thing was the Clippers were actually trying to be physical with Luka, and they were at the end. And, you know, I want to say it was Morris that, you know, got real physical with Luka, and Kristaps Porzingis tried to jump in to kind of help his teammate, which you can't fault him for that. But, you know, dude has to realize he already has a technical foul. So when you jump into something like that, even if it's just a stare down or, quick shoulder bump, whatever, or a push, you're going to get teed up, especially with the referees that are, trigger happy when it comes to technical fouls and they want to be, seen. So, Kristaps Porzingis gets second technical foul, gets thrown out the game. It's unfortunate. But Marcus Morris, good. He was providing some good minutes for the Clippers. I think he was definitely one of the reasons why the Clippers took this game. But the Mavericks, again, I don't think that they're gonna fall over and die. This is gonna be a series. I think this is gonna be the most competitive series out of the other series that we have seen. So I'm anticipating 6-7 games. I'm not gonna full on pick the Mavericks because I think the Clippers are still the favorite to win. But the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavs, they're gonna be legit. They're gonna cause some chaos. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about the Utah Jazz versus Denver Nuggets. Now, to this day, when you're hearing this podcast, this series is going to be tied up. It's 1-1 right now. So the Nuggets won in overtime, game 1, and then the Jazz actually just had a nice decisive win to overtake and tie up the series. And we're seeing, unfortunately, the NBA bubble is kind of, because playoff basketball, you don't see this many guys scoring 40 points and all that stuff. It's insane. Donovan Mitchell, game 1, 57 points. Like, I don't know, man. I don't like seeing that stuff in the playoffs. Playoffs supposed to be physical basketball, supposed to be competitive, supposed to be everybody putting their, everything in. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is a monster, but still, there's so many guys scoring 35 plus in the bubble. It's kind of ridiculous. So it's unfortunate, but it's basketball. It could be worse. It could be, we don't have any basketball, but yeah, I'm excited to see this series as well. This one's going to be very competitive. I think I am going to give the nod to the Denver Nuggets in this series, but this one can go either way as well. This one is also competitive. This one, dang it might be more competitive than the other one with the Clippers and the Mavs. But I'm excited that NBA playoff basketball is here. I haven't fully dived in deep for NBA playoff basketball just because I always wait until like the second round to kind of get involved. I can't watch basketball that much. I'm trying to get better at it so I could give you guys the real intake and feedback on these games. But, we're excited that NBA basketball is back, and we'll see. Again, I'm not going to be talking about the Sixers. They're going to get swept and they get kicked out of the first round. So, there's my team. It's a wrap. It's over. It's over. I can't handle it. I cannot handle it. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for more fire sports takes. And for those of you who are on the go, make sure you subscribe to our full show, which airs every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and a bunch more. Until then, I'm chucking it up, and I'll see you guys next time.